Good evening, baseball fans. It is Wednesday, June 5th. I had to check myself and make sure that it was actually Wednesday. So it is Wednesday, June 5th. And it's a very special crossover, Astros Cardinals. If you guys are fans of Bourbon and Baseball All the Balls edition, you should recognize Kelsey. She's over there. Maybe she's over here. I don't know which way to point. Over there. There we go. Anyhow, Kelsey's here. Tom's here. So it's a very special episode. You get all three of us. You should feel very special, people. It's Astros Cardinals crossover. Bourbon and Baseball, all the balls, plus Astros. All of the baseball content right here for your viewing / listening pleasure.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So before we get into it, though, rated R warning, here we come. This is a rated R podcast for all of the 4-letter words, none of the nudity, just all the 4-letter words, probably some inappropriate adult humor. So if cuss words are not your jam, skedaddle on out of here because there will be cussing. There will be cussing. I don't know why there's going to be I don't know why there's going to be cussing. I know why there's going to be cussing because I am alive and breathing, and that's just who I am as a person. So. Anyhow, I'm Suzy. That is Kelsey. There we go. I'm pointing the right way. That is Kelsey. Down there is Tom, and this is Bourbon and Baseball. Let's go. Ooh. We won a series, Tom. We won a series. Hooray!
It's against the Cardinals. It doesn't count.
It doesn't.
Hold on.
It does count. It does count.
That's not fair because I said I was terrified of the Cardinals, and your boy Burley made everybody realize why you should be, because there are some boppers in that lineup.
He really tried to put this series on his back. He did. It was just
him and Nolan Gorman, man. They tried, but we prevailed. We prevailed.
The Cardinals decided that now they're going to start in the first couple months of the season. They were not hitting home runs, playing elite defense. Their innings eater, geriatric pitchers were actually holding up quite well. But now that they've started to hit home runs, they've decided they're just not going to play defense well. So one ball goes up in the air, they drop another one, unfortunately. But that's
we don't know anything about that. What are you talking about? All of our gears are all geared all at the same time. Our bullpen's working, our starting pitching is working, our offense is, it's all in sync. We don't know anything about that. Your geriatric old guy outworked our geriatric old guy, though.
That he did. And is there anything that makes John Mozeliak happier than a Kyle Gibson contract outperforming a Justin Verlander contract?
We as Astros fans know that the long ball, that's Justin Verlander's kryptonite, and we just really hope that it's just a solo bomb, because we always expect low offense for Justin Verlander and Justin Verlander giving up bombs. Typically, it's just like the one, and it's early in the innings.
That's pretty much exactly what happened, right? So top of the first inning, Alec Burleson in the first game, which was Monday.
Yes.
Solo home run. Nolan Gorman, solo home run. Totally fine. That's what you expect.
Love that. Yeah.
And Nolan Arenado singled in a run in the third inning.
Yes.
And it wasn't all downhill from there, actually. But then the Astros got involved. Yordan Alvarez decided to show up and be Yordan Alvarez for the Cardinals.
Listen, I told you what happened, what he did in May. You want to know why our May sucked? Part of the reason is because Yordan Alvarez had 2 home runs in May. So Yordan Alvarez said, JK, guys, sorry. It's June now. I can now get hot. Alex Bregman also said, oh, it's June? Let's go. We were all aware. We knew that Alex Bregman doesn't actually do anything until June. He tries. Really does, but it's June. But then all of a sudden, our catcher, our young catcher, Yainer Diaz said, oh, guys, it's June. Did you know that it's June? I can now start hitting home runs as well.
Tom, were you not worried about Alex Bregman? You were waiting for the calendar page to turn?
This is probably the worst that Alex Bregman has ever started. And he's been a slow starter.
There's no probably, Tom. It is the worst. Come on now.
Okay. I agree. This is the worst Alex Bregman start we've ever seen. And you felt like this team, or at least I did, that as Alex Bregman went, so went the Astros. So for him to hit this gear, which we thought maybe 2-3 weeks ago he had a series where things started to click and he started about the knob of the bat, all the things. And now I guess he's got like a thermometer in a butt cheek or something. It's like when he gets that right temperature, let's start hitting. And he's been on a heater. He looks fantastic. And Yordan, the crazy thing about Yordan is he was hitting. His average is good. I think he had hits in 8 of 10 games. It wasn't the homer. It wasn't the big impacted bats that you're used to seeing from him. And I know the Astros need it right now in the worst way with all the things they've got going on, which I'm sure we'll get into with the pitching and things of that nature. This offense is really going to have to get their shit together and carry them to get back in a division race that I think they can.
Absolutely. So the first game I wasn't actually able to watch in real time because my broke little besties were living their actual best lives. And so I'm over here with the most ridiculous internet trying to catch up on the game. And I couldn't actually watch the game because, like I said, the internet was not happy. So I was listening to the game, and most of the time that wasn't working either. So I was only looking at the webcast, not the webcast, the StatCast on MLB, the app. And I would get the news, I don't know, a minute to 2 minutes after the play actually happened. And then Kelsey, you were texting me about various things, and I'm all, I don't even know what's going on, guys. I don't know. And Tom, you were on the PSF app. The comeback, because we really, this season, as an Astros fan, once we're down, it's pretty much good night. It's like lights out. We should expect the worst, but maybe hope for the best if you want your hopes dashed. And that's what this season has been. But that game, we came back, and I'm all, we came back? We won? What are you talking about? We won. How did we win? And then I had to wait until the next day to actually watch the game. But the fact that Yainer decides, hey, guess what? Suzy can't watch the game, so I'm going to hit my first home run in 164 plate appearances or something stupid like that. I think he hadn't hit a home run since April 11th, April 17th.
Yeah, April 11th.
Something very dumb like that. I'm all, Yainer, you're killing me, legitimately killing me. But it was on a slider. It was on a slider. Yay! That's really what makes me happy, that it was on a slider. I felt very poorly, though, because it was off of Jojo Romero, and I felt bad.
Yeah, that's the craziest thing is not only have the Astros not won games late, the Cardinals bullpen has been one of the best in baseball. That's been like the one thing that's been really consistent for them, and specifically Jojo Romero. So yeah, it was weird on both accounts. Jojo was definitely used more, like he threw more pitches. The fact that he came back in and was asked to get as many outs as he was, that was certainly part of what was weird about it and contributed to it for sure. But yeah, for both teams, it was uncharacteristic. And I didn't particularly have a great time.
I don't know what you're talking about. We joke about our bullpen. Surprisingly enough, though, since, what was that stat? Like May 1st, our bullpen has been lights out. We got apparently all of the crap out in April. And they said, oh, we need to shake off the cobwebs, y'all. Hold on. We got to get adjusted. We got to get recalibrated. And then since May 1st, we've been lights out. And I think, so after Verlander came in, what was it? It was literally all of the M's. Parker Mashinsky, Seth Martinez, Rafael Montero, and then Josh Hader. I think Montero walked somebody and maybe gave up a hit, but everybody else was lights out. I'm all, or maybe that was Martinez. So one of the M's gave up a hit. Again, I didn't get to watch it. You were on the PSF app. What kind of noise was being made over there?
So I wish I could have had y'all there because it was really awesome because you had all the ranges of emotion. And then, like y'all talked about with Jojo Romero, they put the graphic up that the man's slider was the most lethal pitch in baseball. It was like 0.29 or something like that. So for the Astros to just grind out at bats and then for Yainer to get the slider and hit it out.
Did the graphic happen and then immediately Yainer hit the home run? Because that's typically how it works for Astros games.
I wonder if it was like a batter. It was like a batter before that.
Yeah, it was pretty shortly before. But so coming into that outing, Jojo Romero had pitched 29 innings so far this season. He had given up 4 earned runs. He gave up 3 earned runs in that inning.
He was tired. He was very tired.
I mean, partially,
very tired,
yes.
yeah.
I was really surprised that Oli Marmol made him wear it.
Yeah.
Like why at that point, why? And it was crazy because I went to Twitter and I don't see a lot of Cardinals content. I happened to that night because all of Cardinals Twitter was like, what are we doing to Jojo Romero? Yeah. And I couldn't be mad at him because I thought the same thing from the other side where I could have been like, you know what? You just leave him out there. You just let him throw all the pitches. Yeah. We're good. No, I was surprised.
Yeah, it was strange for sure. And I'm sure part of that was the fact that they were planning for potentially more of a bullpen game the following day. But regardless, it was a weird decision when they have options, you would think at this point. And maybe I think we heard later that a guy or two was not available. But yeah, in the moment, it was very much like, I'm just going to leave him, hang him out to dry. Cool.
We're like, you love that. Okay, sure. Ollie, what are we doing? But yeah, when I got home the next day and got to watch the game, I was thrilled. And I was so excited again that Breggy was getting hot again, that he's locked back in and decided that the calendar has turned. I can now officially start being an actual good baseball player now. And then Yiners, me too. I as well can do the things. And so he goes, Victor Caratini? No, he can't get all the shine. Me, Yiner can. That was great to see. The second game, Spencer Arrighetti versus AndrePallante. Kelsey, what is AndrePallante's windup? How does one pitch like that? I don't understand. Is it because I'm not an athlete?
Yeah, it's definitely two separate motions. It is very unique. I was actually just going to look up how tall he is because I feel like he's not super tall, and that's probably part of it too. But we see he's 6 foot. Okay. He's short for a pitcher, but he's not short.
He's not super gangly, but it was just very herky-jerky.
Yeah.
And it felt like every time he released the pitch, he was going to fall down. And I'm all,
I think I'm just used to watching him that I don't feel that way anymore. But he does have a very unique windup, and he doesn't just physically look like most pitchers do, like his build.
Yeah, I don't know. I was very concerned about AndrePallante. I texted you and I'm all, what is happening? That's not just me, right? It looks weird. Like what's going on? But the fact that the Cardinals said, we lost last night, so therefore we're just going to hurt all of the Astros. I don't take kindly to that, Kelsey. What are we doing over here?
It did seem like that was part of the plan. They just were
Can't beat them. We're going to beat them.
Yeah. If we can't beat them, we're going to beat them.
Was it the first night that Tucker took the foul ball off the shin?
I don't want to talk about it.
Yes. Yes. And then very early
Next
on.
question.
Okay.
The second one was when
they hit Alex Bregman.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And then was it the third inning that the comebacker to Spencer Arrighetti? I'm all, what? Why? Can you not? And they, on our broadcast, they had literally just gotten done talking about Christian Javier and Jose Urquidy and how, guess who gets elbow surgeries, guys? Astros.
Everyone.
Yeah. They're literally the 5 guys that we're running out right now are the literal only 5 guys that we have apparently in the Astros organization. And I text you, I'm all, we don't have anybody else. Stop hitting our guys. So we got Eric Lauer just chilling in the minors. Possibly that can come up and eat some innings, but it's an innings eater, and that's all.
The Cardinals are in the same boat, so they're just like taking out their hatred, their anger on the Astros. Because AndrePallante, we talked about this on the All the Balls edition, but he is Plan D for the Cardinals starting rotation. Hopefully, Steven Matz is going to go on a rehab assignment this week or by this weekend. And after that outing,
is that a much better option or just a?
He could be
a better option.
He's an older option, so we think he's better for us. But yeah, after that outing yesterday, I'm not sure. It sucks because it was such a stark difference from what we saw from him against the Reds. But what we saw from him yesterday versus the Astros is more along the lines of what you would expect. I hate to say that because I do think there's a spot for him on a major league roster, and he has potential. He has a skill set that can be valuable, but it is not as a starter. And what cracked me up about it is because he's a ground ball out pitcher. That's the name of his game. He could literally be one of those guys that like outperforms BABIP and doesn't strike anybody out, but will get through 6 innings. But the Astros were just like, that's cool. We're just going to like score on ground outs then. And that's what they did.
And the fact that Spencer Arrighetti was only really able to go, 3 innings? 3 innings. So it ended up being a bullpen game for us as well. Yeah. And I'm all, I don't like that. That's not good. But the fact that we were down and then battled back was my favorite part of that game. And I think I even tweeted something like that out at the end of that game. Because again, the first 2 games is Astros of old, of a couple of seasons, but not this season. Astros is, and so the fact that's what we were able to do and not just hit the long ball, but move runners over and score, that I'm all, it's beautiful. We love that. That's so good because again, we've not really been able to see it this season. And so again, that's huge for us. And the fact that I tagged you on the umpire scorecard, that apparently the umpires were like, no, we are definitely screwing the Astros. What are we doing? A run and a quarter? What is that? My tinfoil hat is all the way off now. Completely all the way off, Kelsey. What are we doing, Amal?
Hey, they didn't need the help. I don't know what to say.
You're like, you won anyways. Why are you even
I
showing?
don't know. Mikolas today was getting squeezed. So I don't know. It's just one of those things that like it happens to all teams and all pitchers, and it's part of what they have to adjust to. But yeah, in this case, it didn't help the Cardinals anyway. They
Bring
couldn't
me
save
the
themselves.
automated balls and strikes and the challenge system immediately.
Yeah, they used 11 pitchers in yesterday's game. 6 for the Astros, 5 for the Cardinals.
Yeah. And that second game lasted 4 hours and 33. It didn't last 4 hours and 33 minutes, but it really felt like it. No, but I think it was the first, or not the first, but one of the very few 3+ hour games that we've had this year. And then today's game was, I think, exactly 2 hours.
Yeah, it was very quick.
I was all, oh, we're done now? Oh, okay. I think I looked up and it was the bottom of the fourth, and I'm all, how is it the bottom of the fourth? It's been like 4 minutes. What's going on?
No one wanted to score any runs until the fifth inning, so we didn't need to take a lot of time.
No, they just said, you know what? We're real tired from that really long game that we did last night. We're just not gonna take good at bats, and we're just gonna let the rookies just hit back-to-back bombs. That's all we're gonna do.
The one thing that was interesting with Mikolas, that he was really good at inducing contact, but like harmless. I want to say he only threw 69 pitches or something like that. And then they pulled him. And then there was a stat towards the end of the game where it was like there were less than 100 pitches going into the 9th inning, which is just unheard of, because 8 pitches, 9-pitch innings, like over and over and over again. And I think you could tell it was like a day game after a night game, and really nobody wanted to be there. And it was like, who wanted to beat it? Who wanted it more? And clearly the Cardinals wanted it more. But really proud of Yainer for doing what he's doing. I think something that I noticed a series ago was that he was trying to pull everything. And then if you notice in the last couple of homers that he hit, he went the other way with them. And I think when he starts to go with the pitch as opposed to trying to pull and roll stuff over, you're seeing just a different hitter, because he's got tons of power. Everybody talks about it. I thought it was really interesting that they made mention, I think, a couple different times where Yainer's done so much to try to work behind the plate that he's lost the hit tool because he's trying so hard to get caught up with that side of his game. And I think that for Yainer, being able to get a day off and then get back to hitting and then DHing really helped him, and we're going to need it.
Absolutely. I would have loved a sweep. That would have been super great. It would have helped our eventual standings, because of course when we win, the Rangers and the Mariners also have to win. Fucking Mariners and Rangers. They just can't lose? No? Okay, cool. Love that. But before we started recording, we went over this. And again, this is not a math pod, people. This is your first time tuning in. You should know, just because I'm Asian doesn't mean I can do the maths. All right. I don't know the magic number, but I'm pretty sure that it's not a great number to have if you're the Astros trying to get into the playoffs. I think we have to win something stupid like 70% of our remaining games in order to win.
There's 6 games back from the last wild card spot. But here's the crazy thing. You should just come on over to the National League, because there's only 4 teams in the National League that are above 500. So the Cardinals are only a half game back from the last wild card spot.
I think too, though, a lot of that assumes that all these teams are going to play 500 baseball.
Totally.
And I think that's not something that you can forecast or predict, especially with the AL West. A lot of these guys have to play each other still. So I don't feel that 6.5 is this mountain that some people do. I know Suzy loves every show. We got to look at standings. Every show. And I'm like, talk to me July 31.
That's how I am too. I don't even look at them until after Memorial Day. That's the first time I will even acknowledge that they exist. But I also think that it's even more, I think it has to be after the trade deadline at this point, or closer to, because of the balanced schedule. Like you just said, they haven't even played within their division that much at this point, and that can swing things so drastically. The Cardinals are going to play 6 games in the next week against the Pirates and the Cubs. So by the end of next week, they could be in first place. That's just the way that it goes when you play within the division.
Wait, is it a Skeens-Jones rotation, or do you get like the Keller Falter?
Probably not. We're probably only going to see one of them. If Skeens went today, I don't know. I'll try to get ahead of that.
All right.
But I'll let you know.
I will not sing the dreaded song that you hate so much, Kelsey, but now it's stuck in my head again because you just reminded me of it.
Okay, before I go, let's talk about why the national media seems to think that even though right now the Cardinals are 29-31. They have a 483 winning percentage. The Astros are 28-35. They have a 444 winning percentage. So overall, not terribly different, but the national media seems to really think the Astros are like still have a shot at this. They're too good not to be in the playoffs. And they wrote the Cardinals off like weeks ago. Why?
I
Is it
think
just because looking at them on paper, that's how it seems?
I think it's resting on our laurels, or they're looking at our laurels. I don't even know what laurels are actually, and I don't know what body part that represents. But I think that's what the national media is looking at. They're looking at the 7
Yes.
LDSs and not Mormons, the district series. You know what I'm talking about, peoples, not the Mormons. And I think they're looking at Jordan Alvarez and Kyle Tucker and Alex Bregman and Jose Altuve and Justin Verlander. I think they're looking at those names versus
And
Kyle
Josh
Gibson and
Hader and Brian Abreu. Yeah,
Yeah.
looking at it on paper and what we all thought would happen at the beginning of the season. And I think that's why they're at this point last season, the Cardinals were in that boat where everybody was still like, yeah, but they're still going to win the division, right?
Right.
Yes, they're
What are we
trash, they're
talking about?
horrible, but like they're still in, right? But because of last season, now everybody's just like, yeah, no, they're toast. But I come back to my question I've been asking since week 2, are the Astros the Cardinals of 2023?
I
Get
blame
back
Brett
to me.
Brett
I'll
Vendor.
answer that after All-Star break.
Fair enough. We'll reconvene. Yes, after the All-Star break.
If it depends on if we get any sort of starting rotation bolstering, because if we have to go into the second half of this season with literally just these 5 arms, I may become an alcoholic. So just bourbon and baseball may actually be a thing.
I can promise you that won't happen.
Yeah.
One of the two of Garcia and LMJ will become something, I think. If not, then you'll absolutely see them make a move because Ronel Blanco and Spencer Aggetti are going to absolutely smash innings limits that they never seen. So something's going to happen if for nothing else, those two guys.
Yeah, but to pool all of our hopes and wishes on LMJ and Luis Garcia Jr., that's a whole other person. That's not our Luis Garcia. Is a bit foolish, no? 2 pitchers coming back from Tommy John. That's what we're going to pin all of our hopes and dreams on.
That's why you really hope they come back July 4, 5, 6, somewhere in there, and you get to see them for 2 weeks. But I would think something's going to happen. You're going to see something.
All right, Kels, I know that you've got to jet away, so we will reconvene after the All-Star break, and then I will let you know if I'm going to become an alcoholic or just a nice, normal temperament person. That's what we'll do.
Sounds good. I'll check back with you then, but have fun recapping, talk all the shit about the Cardinals now that I'm gone.
Will do. Definitely. Bye, Kels.
Bye, guys.
Bye, Kels.
Oh, you know what? You know what I can do? I can change the thing. Hold on. Let's change the thing. So while I'm changing the thing, we got to talk about today's game, though, because this game today, this zone, man, I can't wait until I see the umpire scorecard for today's game, because I don't even know what the actual fuck was going on with that. 2 of those runs should not be on Ronald Blanco's ledger, but it is.
I spent the whole series. I spent the entire night in the PSF app with my hands in the air going, that's not a fucking strike. Like so many times. And then it was like, it was a strike on the Astros hitters, or it was not a strike for the Astros pitchers. It's getting out of hand. I really think Joe Espada has to do a better job of at least trying to assert himself a little bit into these baseball games. I get he wants to be the stoic, sit in the back, Joe Torre manager, the calming influence, and maybe you can. But even AJ Hinch was willing to go to war from time to time when he knew his guys were getting screwed. And when you see Bregman, a guy that has the utmost control and command of the zone, just stare off into space and shake his head. And I mean, if he could, I think he'd break his bat. Like, he's legitimately angry because he knows he's getting the wrong end of it.
I saw on Twitter that Chandler Rome had tweeted out something about Espada coming out of the dugout and barking at him. I think during or maybe right after Bregman's at bat, nobody got ejected. I didn't see it on the broadcast, and I can't remember which game it was, but I definitely did not see any sort of Joe Espada histrionics going on. So it wasn't enough to where A, anybody got tossed, or B, to merit camera time. So if it's not meriting camera time, I don't think it should count.
It's not enough. Yeah. Space City Network, I love you guys. I think y'all are the best, but I need to see that shit. I need y'all to give me something that makes me think that Joe Espada is going to war for these boys, because I swear they're just not the type. You see so many of them just take it, and Jordan will take it, and I'm just like, please, somebody just show a little fight.
There was a strike called on Jose Altuve today that was legitimately in the batter's box. In his batter's box, they called it a strike. I'm all, in what world? In what world is that a strike? Are you kidding me right now? And then the next pitch was almost the exact same spot. It was probably a little bit closer to the actual strike zone, and that one was called a ball. I'm all, I cannot with this freaking strike zone. And then in the bottom of the fifth, was it the bottom? Yeah, the bottom of the fifth, when Ronel Blanco literally made his pitch after a 9-pitch at bat, the 9th pitch should have been a strike. It was a whole ball and a half, literally in the zone. What are we doing here? And then after that, runs scored. I mean, you even saw, I think it was, I keep wanting to call him Andy Pajes. It's not Andy Pajes. That's the Dodgers. His last name is Pajes. It's their catcher, their backup catcher. I don't remember, but I remember his first name. But he thought it was definitely gonna be strike. He went to go throw his bat, and it was like, oh, not a strike. Okay, I'm gonna just adjust this, and then I'm gonna get back in the box. So and then I had to defend Ronel today because people were saying that he was not a good pitcher. I'm like, listen, I understand that he gave up some runs after that, but he shouldn't have. It should not have happened because he made his pitches. And at that point in time, I think by that point, it was like 25 pitches in, like a 25 pitch inning, man. That's rough. And it looks to me like he's getting tired. I don't know what his innings limit looked like last season, but I guarantee you we are quickly approaching the top end of what he did last season. My question to you, Tom, is how much longer do you think he's gonna be able to go?
Right now, he's at 64 and 2/3 innings. I think really that's not it. I think when he gets to say 100 innings, then they may move him to the pen. They may go back to a 6-man rotation. They had a similar issue last year with JP France and Hunter Brown, where they were really concerned about innings. So I totally could see what you're saying. This is a lot in a short amount of time, where normally this would have been a whole minor league season for him or something like that, spread out over time. So I really think that today, especially when you spoke to the pitch that was missed, it totally changed the entire game for him. And I think sometimes too, when you watch them pitch, certain guys, JV included, will just pitch to contact, knowing I need to get out. I need to get through these innings. They have a number in their head where they want to get to, and you see them come right over the heart of the plate. Like, I'm not fighting it anymore. And good teams will take advantage. And the Cardinals, for whatever we said about the record, I think they are a good team. I told Kelsey, I stepped into one of her podcasts before the series, that I was terrified of the Cardinals because I thought this was a team that, if not properly respected, could absolutely go in there and sweep the Astros. They had enough. You saw the hitters they had. They're pitching a little less to be desired, but you spoke to the bullpen, and if they get the lead, forget about it. Their closer today, absolutely electric. I want no part of that guy. So I totally respect what they're able to do. And for the Astros, this was a really impressive series. And today's game, I always felt like when I saw the lineup, it was going to be really tough for them to score runs. I felt like it was just so top heavy. You had a lot of guys at the bottom, and credit to TreyCabbage, because I thought he was one of them. I thought he was going to strike out a ton, and he was able to put one in the bullpen, which I didn't see that. Everybody that saw what he's doing in minor leagues, you think, wow, TreyCabbage has got some crazy power, but he'd never been able to translate it over to the major league side, at least with the Angels when he was with them last year. So he may be something that if they can just get him to cut down on the Ks, that could be an option for a while Tuck is gone long term. I know they brought him up, but I don't know to what end. Is it a spot start, or is he really going to
the fact that he can play first base and outfield, I think, is why he came up over Joey Loperfido. The fact that he actually is a designated first baseman outfield guy, as opposed to Joey Loperfido, who's outfield trying to play first base. And so I think the fact that John Singleton and Jose Abreu are so positionally challenged, and especially late in games, because obviously neither one of them have speed. And it is what it is. Big John is Big John for a reason. Speedy Gonzalez, he is not. The fact that maybe late in games as a defensive replacement / pinch runner for either one of them. My question to you, though, is the All-Star ballot came out today for all of the teams. For all of the teams, they came out today. And it shows all of the Astros and who you should vote for what positions. And it is very telling of the Astros organization that John Singleton is listed as the first baseman. Now, I think it would just be absolutely silly if they listed Jose Abreu as the first baseman. So it's like lesser of two, I don't want to say evils because that's not the connotation I'm trying to put here, but it's rock and a hard place, right? You've got the first baseman that you're paying how much?
19.
$19 million a year to, or you've got John Singleton over here making league minimum, doing a decent enough job. Neither one, though, you're really looking forward to slotting in at first base. And then the disrespect, that man right there, Chas McCormick. And I realize that this season he has not garnered that respect of being listed as an outfielder, but he didn't get that respect last season either. And the fact that Chas McCormick is not listed as an outfielder and that Mauricio Dubon is just stabbed to the fucking heart. And it almost leads me to believe that means that Chas McCormick will most likely be on the trade block.
I think you're reading too far into it. I think you're reading too far into it because as the Astros, they have to list guys that at least could potentially make an All-Star game. Say what you want about the John Singleton, Jose Abreu thing. They're both bad. John Singleton right now is not good. And
he's
like I said, he is less bad, 100%. But at no point in time is John Singleton making an All-Star game with the numbers that he's putting up. He's just not doing it. Now, he will make it before Jose Abreu, and I think that's why they listed it. Also, at no point in time will Mauricio Dubon make an All-Star game as an outfielder. Just saying. He's putting up better numbers than Chas, so they list him. Mauricio Dubon is not making this All-Star game as an outfielder. We can bet
with
whatever.
This fan base loving Mauricio Dubon as much as they do. Come on now, Tom.
It's not happening.
Half this fan base thinks that Mauricio Dubon should be one of the everyday outfielders.
And if it was an All-Star game in Houston, only voted for by the Houston fan base, you're right. But it's not. And the PR team is just going, you know what? This is our best. We're going to put our best lineup forward. They're not making this All-Star game. We're going to put them on there. But it's not to say that Chas McCormick isn't a valued member of the team. It's just he's the lesser of the evil. You know what I mean? Dubon's not making an All-Star game. I'm sorry. There's 3 guys for me that should get All-Star votes on this team. There's only 3. And it is Yordan Alvarez, Kyle Tucker, and Ronel Blanco. And that's it. That's it. Anybody else? No business, because nobody else has the numbers that you can even start and talk about. And I saw somebody, I was having this conversation on Twitter, and somebody said, what about Pena? Or no, it wasn't on Twitter. It was a text. It was like, what about Pena? I'm like, look, shortstop's loaded. Pena had a good start. Pena's faltered as of late. His numbers are not going to get him into an All-Star game.
What about Jose Altuve?
What about Jose Altuve? I think Jose Altuve had a phenomenal start. I don't know that Jose Altuve is going to get the votes, and it's stupid, but it's just me. If you think that the fan base can get him in there, absolutely. I think that the boos that he gets in every other friggin' ballpark that you fight so vehemently, there's no way he's making an All-Star game. So let me go vote for the guys that got a shot, in my opinion. Because I think you can get Yordan Alvarez to an All-Star game as a designated hitter because there isn't a huge pool there. I think you can get Kyle Tucker to an All-Star game because he's one of the top fucking outfielders in baseball right now, numbers and otherwise. I think Ronel Blanco's numbers are good enough to get him to an All-Star game because if you just put him up there at face value. Now, is he the one that's probably of the 3 the least likely? Yes. But
so you don't think Josh Hader has a chance? You don't think Brian Abreu has a chance?
Hader, maybe. Relievers are so weird because they always bring so many starters. You get like 1 or 2 relievers, and that's it. So I don't know when it all shakes out. And this is just me watching every All-Star game. Like, this is how it always works. They take 78 starters. They all pitch 2 innings. And if you have a closer that's just lights out, untouchable, 20 for 20 in saves. Hader's been good, but he hadn't been that. So I don't see him making it.
All right. I'm trying to sit here and think of AL closers that could possibly make it. Andres
Mason
Munoz is hurt.
Miller.
Mace. Okay, so Baseball is Dead. That podcast had Jerry Carrabis had an interesting theory, and he wanted Mason Miller to start the.
Oh, okay. I thought you meant become a starter.
No, well,
Wow.
now he is a failed starter.
He is.
He is
You're
a
right.
failed starter, but Jerry Carrabis wants Mason Miller to start the All-Star game as
I, th-
and I'm all.
I think that'd be cool.
That's not a That's not a bad idea, actually. And you want eyeballs, right? You want eyeballs on the All-Star game. You want the best of the best out there. That would be it. But besides Mason Miller, like I said, Andres Munoz just got hurt last night, I think.
Isn't Clark Schmidt closing for the Yankees? That'd be another one.
No, Clay Holmes.
Clay Holmes. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Starter. My bad. Got my white guys mixed up.
Yeah. Clark Schmidt is one of their young starters, but he's on the IL too. But I would say maybe Yuan Duran for the Minnesota Twins. And
that's 3. Holmes, Miller, and Duran. That's 3 closers that go before Hader because their teams are leading divisions and they've been really good.
Yeah.
So for me, I guess I'm weird. I know I'm weird. Let me be clear. I only place all-star votes for guys that I don't go in there and vote my whole team. I only place all-star votes for guys that I feel like legitimately should be there and legitimately have a shot. Like, focus your efforts as opposed to let me put Framber Valdez in there because he's my favorite and he's an Astro and he used to be good. No, I'm not going to do that. Like, no disrespect to Framber, but he's not an all-star pitcher right now.
That's true. But there will be a time in between now and the All-Star game where I think Framber gets his shit together and is like, oh, hey, remember me? Remember how good I was? And it may be this upcoming start against the Angels.
Shoves. Like 8 innings, 10 Ks. Yeah.
What did he do? Didn't he take a no-hitter into the 7th this last time around against who did we just play? Who did he just start against? Why am I blanking on this?
Because we were talking about baseball and you get all these names and numbers and stats and divisions and things of that nature and you start forgetting
Didn't he just start against the Twins?
He did.
Am I on crack? Okay. So I want to say he took a no-hitter into the 7th or 6th on his start. Yeah. Let's see here. Why do you hate me, MLB app?
Because you are. Here we go. 7 innings, 2 hits, 1 run, 4 strikeouts, 2 walks.
Okay. Yeah. So I want to say that start. I mean, he looked like mostly old Framber. But there will come a time when he shoves and that glimpse. But you're right. At this point in time, none of our starters are really, besides Ronell, have been quote unquote all-star material. And I am like you, Tom. I am of the frame of mind that I'm not putting Breggy as my AL third baseman because Jose Ramirez does exist. So it's
and
one
I
of
love
those
J-Ram.
where, yes, I am equally displeased and also elated that Jose Ramirez took a hometown discount and stayed with the Cleveland Guardians because good for you that you loved Cleveland and that organization so much that you're like, you know what? I'm going to stay here, even though he could have gotten more money elsewhere. And I feel like he could have made a bigger name for himself elsewhere. He's like, no, I'm good. We're good here. And this season looks like he made the right decision.
Did you see that thing the other day where I guess he got walked intentionally and somebody said he got the Barry Bonds treatment? He's I'm better than Barry Bonds. And I was like, you tell him, J-Ram. I'm not even a Gardos fan. And I'm like, absolutely. You tell him. I love that.
I love J-Ram. He cracks me up. And that entire team though, like you sit there and you're all, okay. Yeah, no, I didn't have the Guardians and the Royals on my card. We had the Royals on our radar to be this good this season. But at no point in time did the Guardians ever enter that stratosphere for me. So, but they're doing it and they're doing it with not the starting rotation that they thought they were going to have. And yet they continue to hit and they continue to do the offensive things because it's not all built on the pitching like it has been in years past, which is the surprising part about that. Oh, Emmanuel Clase. Wow, Suzy. That's another relief pitcher closer that we didn't even mention in that discussion, but it's one of those where Jose Altuve probably is going to get my second base vote, but is not going to get some discerning fans. That's not maybe they're going to be their choice. It'll be interesting to see what comes of the All-Star voting, especially since All-Star game this season, this year, is right up the road in South Oklahoma. They should feel very comfortable there at a Minute Maid Park.
Yeah, I feel like. Go ahead.
Is it Arlington Globe Field? Is it Arlington Globe Park?
Globe Life.
Globe Life. Globe Life Field? Globe Life Park? It's Globe Life something. And then the old one is the other.
It's Globe Life Park.
Globe Life Park. Okay. So then the old one was Globe Life Field? The outdoor one?
I thought that was the ballpark in Arlington.
I don't know. Okay. If you're a Rangers fan and you're listening to this for some reason, let us know in the YouTube comments what it actually is. I call it Minute Maid Park so often that I have legitimately forgotten.
That's what it is.
Whoops. Oh, did you see that Corey Seager went out today?
Hamstring. Yeah. It really didn't look like much. To be honest, he went down to first a lot like Jose Abreu does every time. I'm like, he's not hurt. He's pimping that. But no, he's hurt. We talked about Cleveland. We talked about how good they are and what they're doing. And I feel like if anything should give Astros fans some comfort, this is a team that they lost Shane Bieber to Tommy John. I can't remember who else they lost. I thought they lost another pitcher. So, and they just basically, like you said, they found a way, keep going. They've got an electric closer. They've got a good bullpen. I think something that I noticed, I don't know, a couple weeks back that kind of when we were talking about why the Astros are like this and why we're miserable, they played some really tough teams and nobody knew it then. You didn't, like you just said earlier, you did not know that the Yankees were going to be these Yankees. You thought they were going to be okay. You thought they were going to be good, a second, third place team in their division. You did not think they were going to just walk into everybody's building and stomp mud holes in them. And that's what they're doing right now. They're beating up teams. They're winning right now. I think, are they playing Minnesota tonight?
Yeah, they are. They are.
Yeah. Minnesota's a good ball club too. And they're just taking them out to the woodshed.
Rodon had a perfect game through 6 2/3, I think.
Yeah.
Almost in 7th, I think. So, but yeah, we have an off day tomorrow. Thank Jesus. And then we have a West Coast road trip. We have the Angels for 3 and then the Giants for 3. The Giants are not good. As much as I say that they're not good, they are not great. They do have a better record than us. That's not hard to do, people. That's not hard to do. However, 94,000 of their players are hurt. Lamont Wade Jr. went down. I want to say Patrick Bailey, their catcher, just came back up. They lost their center fielder that they signed. Why am I blanking on his name? I can see his face, the Korean guy. Oh my goodness. The Korean guy's name that is coming to my brain right now and that I want to say is the Miami Marlins pitcher that got DFA'd, Usako. That's Jung-Hoo Lee. There we go. Jung-Hoo Lee is the Giants center fielder that they signed from Korea that unfortunately went on the IL, I want to say a month ago now with a broken shoulder, I think. So their entire starting 9 and like pitching rotation is just held together. I'm going to say I saw a news interview with Bob Melvin that basically he just called out his team. He's like, we're not playing good ball right now. It's embarrassing. I'm all right, Bo Mel, tell us how you really feel. Tell us how you really feel. They got swept by the Yankees just last week, I want to say. But
Blake Snell in that series too.
Blake Snell, Jordan Montgomery, the pitchers that did not sign until after spring training, not looking good, people. Not looking good. It almost tells me that you should take the offers that are given to you when they're given to you. And don't wait for a better one because you might lose out on that. However, Matt Chapman has regained some of his Matt Chapman-ness and has looked like a better baseball player because for a while there, it was looking quite dire. Is Jorge Soler back, I want to say? I think Jorge Soler is back.
I think he's close if he's not.
Hopefully, we can beat the Angels this time. Fingers crossed. Apparently, they don't play well at home. That's a whole narrative. So considering that we've apparently been playing better at home and not on the road, I don't know what's going to happen this time. We shall see. The pitching probables, it looks like Friday night will be Fromber versus Griffin Canning. It will be Hunter Brown on Saturday versus Tyler Anderson. And then Sunday will be JV versus Patrick Sandoval. So left-hander, right-hander. Griffin Canning is the right-hander, and then Tyler Anderson and Patrick Sandoval are lefties. They sent down Reed Detmers, one of their electric starters. And we talked about it. We talked about it last time. Shea Wickham, head on over. Reed Detmers, let's come on over. We can fix you. I don't even really know how we could fix you, but I'm pretty sure that we could. I just think I don't think the Angels can. I don't know what's going on with them, but I don't think they can.
I think you notice with a lot of bad teams, when you get guys that just mentally check out because they know they're on a bad team, you get good talent that doesn't want to play up to the level. And I think maybe that's what's going on in Anaheim. On paper, they didn't seem like a bad team, but when you just see all the pieces just start to crumble around them with Rendon and Trout, and it's like the same thing every season with that team where they constantly have injury after injury. I think Reed just, for whatever reason, just got tired of trying to carry that heavy load, trying to deal with that burden of trying to lead that team. And I don't know.
Let's hope that you are correct in that. And like I said, hopefully, again, we can take and win that series. So I don't think the Giants probables are out yet, but we will talk about the Giants series obviously after the Angels series. So one step at a time, guys, one step at a time. However, it was good. It was a good series, even though today's game did suck.
There were positives.
There were positives. Again, Yiner hitting home runs 3 straight days. Love that. Absolutely love that. Well, can we play tomorrow so that he keeps it going and doesn't lose it? Hopefully that can continue in Angel Stadium. I would love to see a majestic home run in the fountains out there. That would be chef's kiss.
That's a stadium I want to visit. The next 2 stadiums are on my list of stadiums to go to before I die. I definitely want to get to San Francisco. That place is just phenomenal. But I really think the Angels ballpark is really pretty too.
Yep, definitely. I think that ballpark is beautiful. And I also think I want to go to the Rockies ballpark and somehow explore the outfield forest that they have. I don't know
about that.
I don't think
probably
that's
animals out there that I got no business exploring.
I'm like, is there a tour? Can I take a guided tour out there? Can I slip like the groundskeeper like 100 and be like, dude, just let me explore back here just a little bit.
So did you get to watch the game today? What did you think of NickHernandez, the recent signing or trade, I should say, from the Padres for cash considerations? Local product, U of H Cougar. I didn't think he looked that bad.
He did not look bad. When they wave the white flag and you're like, oh, okay, guess we're doing this. That's what I felt like when he was coming in. And Suzy, he
in a 2-run ball game, great. They waved the white flag.
Yeah, he did great. And hopefully he can be another leverage piece. He doesn't have a super velocity fastball. I think his fastball is low 90s, but the slider is his pitch. And so I think in certain spots, I think he's going to do great. But I think he's not one of those guys that you can just throw out bases loaded and expect no runs to score type of thing. So I think in certain spots, I think he'll do fabulously. And I'm banking on Joe Espada to use him correctly to maximize those spots. Does that make sense?
I don't know. I don't necessarily know that he stays in the bullpen for any length of time. It was just an interesting addition because all the starters that went down, we talked about it. You were saying that they needed to address it, and they went out and got a reliever. And the way Blummer described him, which I thought was interesting too, was like a guy that's done it all at the minor league level, and just now they need to convert it to the major league level. And I didn't think too much about like the bullpen and the situations of where that would be going forward long term. But if you are going to need to move one of those starters to the bullpen, I don't know what that does for NickHernandez, but it was just an interesting, hey, let's go get a guy. All right, let's plug him in, see what he does. And now what do you do if he's decent? If he pitches like 3 or 4 more times and puts up zeros, are you trading him? Or what are you doing with him? I don't know.
Yeah. I don't know. Maybe that is what they're planning on doing. Maybe they're trying to raise his trade stock and be like, we fixed him. Here you go. Look what we can do.
I got to know, since you didn't answer my text, I have to know. And here's the perfect place to do it. Are you trading a prospect and Jose Abreu for Josh Bell?
Oh, I was like, what are you talking about? I remember now. Maybe. Probably. Anything to get Jose Abreu off of this team? That sounded very much harsher than I wanted to. I'm so sorry. I wanted to word that more delicately, and obviously that did not happen. But yeah, give me a competent first baseman and I will take it. So what prospect are you giving the Miami Marlins?
That's the $1 million question, right? How much would it cost for them to eat a $19 million contract? Because Josh Bell makes $16.5 million this year. The numbers are comparable this year, but Josh Bell is a free agent at the end of the season. Ironically, after I proposed the question to you, and for the people that obviously weren't in our text, let me give you a little backstory. The Miami Marlins DFA'd, who was it they DFA'd? DFAing a player, and they're eating the
They're
remainder of his
DH,
contract.
actually.
They're eating the remainder of his contract. Avisail Garcia, there it is. I'm sorry.
There you go. Yep.
Suzy texts me and goes, if they're eating $24 million of Avisail Garcia, why the fuck aren't the Astros getting Jose Abreu off this team and bringing in somebody that can play? To which I said, it's different. There's only $12 million left on Avisail Garcia's next year, which it's $19 million for Jose Abreu next year. So I think that's a little harder to swallow for the Astros.
That's what she said. Listen, I don't know, but the fact that the Miami Marlins, a organization that is trying to cut payroll, and the fact that they're willing to eat this and not get anything in return should tell you how poorly Avisail Garcia has been playing. Because he is actually, I think it says outfielder. I want to say that they've been using him as a DH because his outfielding capabilities are just horrid. But the fact that they DFA'd him and are going to eat the contract should tell you that they're like, fine, whatever. We know that we're not going to get anything back from him. He is dead weight. Let's just get it over with. And they're not even trying to do anything. They're not even trying to make the wild card. Last season, the Diamondbacks DFA'd Nick Ahmed, their shortstop, to bring up their young Jordan, not Jordan Westberg. That's a different organization. Not Blaze Jordan. Blast it. Why can I not remember their shortstop that they brought up that was not great? I don't remember.
So I hadn't even looked at Avisail Garcia's stats until just now.
Mm-hmm.
What would you think? I'm just going to ask you the question. What do you think his numbers are for them to DFA him? Because this is crazy to me. This doesn't make any sense. Go ahead.
What numbers are we talking about? Are we talking about like batting average? Are we talking about WRC plus, OPS? What are we?
Whichever one you want to pull from your, this is how bad he was for them to DFA him.
Honestly, I can't even tell you. I just remember looking and being like, oh, wow, I wasn't aware. Because before the Miami Marlins signed him, he was big power. Okay, so I'm going to say 175 for batting average.
You would be wrong.
Higher or lower?
Way higher.
All 43 of my chins are coming out because I'm looking at you very...
What if I told you Avisail Garcia's numbers for me right now are better than John Singleton's?
What? Okay. What are his numbers?
He's got 50 at-bats. I don't know why. Injuries, whatever. I don't know. But in 50 at-bats, he's batting .240 with 2 home runs, 2 RBIs, 380 slug, a 635 OPS, and he's a 77 OPS plus. So he's not great. He's not good, but he's not bad in 50 at-bats, which I think is a small sample size. What is that? 10 games? 15 games?
I don't know. I'm looking at let's see.
So
Marlins. Okay, so he was with the Brewers before and then the Rays. And then the White Sox.
The White Sox.
Okay. I'm trying to remember which version of Avisail Garcia is in my head, and it's the one that hit all of the home runs. Was that the Brewers Avisail Garcia? I think that was. Like the 2021 version of Avisail Garcia?
29 bombs. That sounds about right.
Yeah. And then he went to the Marlins and just not the same.
Definitely not what they paid for, 100%.
So, what is his defensive
If he's DHing.
was he DHing or was he playing in the outfield? Because I feel like he was DHing a bunch.
Let's see. Fielding. Right field, he's played 16 games in right field. So I mean,
he was.
But in 50 at bats, that's probably pretty close to what he's played. And so he's probably played predominantly right field, which that's not good. That's not good for a right fielder.
It looks like he was hurt as well.
His last 5 games, he was in right field for 4 of them, and he pinch hit 1 of them. But he hadn't played since 4/27. Bless you.
Excuse me. Thank you. If you're on the YouTube side, you will have seen me just have a tiny little seizure as I sneezed. Anyhow, yeah, so what you're telling me is that Avisail Garcia is actually a better player than John Singleton and Jose Abreu. And they're
statistically, yes.
Okay. Houston Astros. Ball is in your court. Ball is in your court.
Now, the guy that I want, but I don't know how popular he'll be, is Josh Bell, because I think he's a average guy, not a he's got power too, but I think he would be an upgrade over both of them. Currently, he's batting .247. He's got 6 homers in 231 at bats. He has a .385 slug, a .703 OPS, and his OPS plus is 98.
I say that it's not horrible.
No.
As I look at our current first base choices, go to the Mets. Go to the Mets.
Don't do this.
Listen, we already have great relations with the Mets. They're going to blow things up as it is. Pete Alonso and Kyle Tucker are besties. I don't think they're actual besties, but they are really good friends. Send Kyle Tucker to be like, Pete Alonso, polar bear. Come on over. You know you want to win a ring? Let's go. Can we sign him and then extend him? No? Why? I know why. My actual brain can work. I know. All right. But in my fantasy baseball world, that would be great. Bring Luis Severino and Pete Alonso over. We need starting pitching and we need a first baseman. Done and done.
If we are playing MLB The Show, you might be able to do that because you don't have to deal with Jim Crane and you don't have to deal with you are the Jim Crane. You can do all those things. But in no scenario are they paying Pete Alonso, and in no scenario would you want to rent him.
Regardless of what we thought Pete Alonso was going to get, I don't think at any point in time Pete Alonso is going to get the numbers that he initially is thinking that he was going to get, especially with all of the drama that Scott Boras had last season. They were talking like Breggy numbers for Pete Alonso. I don't think he's going to get that.
I agree with you, but he's a Boras client. He's 29 and he'll be 30 when it's all said and done. I don't see a scenario where he doesn't go looking for 8 years. He's going to want what Breggy wants. Now, exactly. So if Dana Brown goes into Jim Crane's office and goes, I want Pete Alonso, or Jim Crane's going to be like, get the fuck out of my office.
Okay, but 14 home runs, a .237 batting average, 31 RBIs, a .475 slug, a .128 OPS plus. Could you just stick with me, guys? Can you imagine the lineup if Pete Alonso was sandwiched in between frickin'
Tuck and Jordan? Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah. Bopper City. And the funny thing that you point that out, MLB.com did this thing this morning where they were like guys that are going to turn it on. And they had Roflo and I forget the other guy's name, DeRosa, right? Mark DeRosa.
Oh, Mark DeRosa, huh?
They had him and I just got on my private jet. I'm out here, Gordon Gekko, blah, 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 blah. And these guys are my low stocks that are going to just make all the money. And Pete Alonso was one of them. The weather's turned around. He hits crazy in the month of June. And I think he's just going to go on a crazy search because he's trying to get paid.
Yeah, Yeah, yeah. I don't disagree with you. Stranger things have happened. We can get JV back, talk to Pete Alonso, get Kyle Tucker over there.
I do
That would
think
be delightful. But right now he's making 20.5 million.
so.
Mm,
Probably add
there's
another 10 to that.
really and truly, how many teams could afford that?
But one he plays for currently.
That's it.
That's all you need.
If they blow
My
it up and they need something to placate the fan base, that may be it.
my conspiracy theory, and probably your boy Keith too, is that they're gonna back the Brinks truck up to Juan Soto. I totally see Juan Soto having this monster year, wanting all the money and getting into a bidding war in New York at the end of the season. Yankees versus Mets.
So they're not going to back it up for both Pete and Juan Soto.
Oh, maybe not. Maybe not. You're right. But at that point, he's going to be Plan B. I think Pete Alonso will be Plan B. I think Juan Soto will be Plan A. And I cannot wait because the Steinbrenners traditionally have never been outbid by anybody. And I think Hal right now is not George. And he's already said, I don't want to do anything that puts me over 300 million a year
That's
and
true.
in payroll. And Steve Cohen does not give a fuck. He's like, money? What's money? I got
Yeah, but
cities of it.
he's got Peter, what's his bucket from the Rays, paring down and making the moves, and
I thought it's
so
David Stearns. They hired David Stearns.
you're right. You're right. I'm still on the Miami Marlins. It's David
and
Stearns. You're right.
and I don't think he's going to be scared to spend his money.
Okay. So then, all right, the Yankees would be so fucking dumb.
I would
So
love
dumb.
it.
It would. I know
Astros fans everywhere would love nothing
the petty
more.
parts. The petty parts,
Yes,
Suzy, would love that.
yes.
But God, I hate Juan Soto.
Hey, then you're going to love him in the National League.
Yeah, that too. I despised him more now that he's on the Yankees because I didn't despise Juan Soto
In the
this
National
much when
League.
he was on the Padres, but I definitely despised him when he was on the Nats. Definitely on the Nats.
And to
But
bring this full circle, to get back to the Astros portion of this thing, I
right.
truly believe there's a scenario where, and it's going to be painful because you're going to have to part with prospects. And people get all in their feels when you have to part with prospects. Last year, when they went out and got Justin Verlander, people lost their shit because they parted with prospects. They immediately became top 100 prospects the moment they showed up in New York. And Suzy, if you're not on YouTube, you should be, because the eye roll that you just got from Suzy was legendary. Anyway, but you're going to have to part with prospects. But I think there are teams like the Marlins that'll say, okay, we'll take the guy you don't want. We're not going to be good anyway. We'll go ahead and we'll eat that contract for you, a la Jake Odorizzi, when we were able to flip him to Atlanta for Will Smith when they didn't want Will Smith, when it was bad contract. And it was like, we're going to DFA him and we don't care because that money's going to come off our books. So I think there's a scenario where Dana Brown, if he gets creative, can do that. Now, you're going to have to part with prospects to do it, but to get a tier up in first baseman right now for a team that really struggles to score runs, I think if you want to go out in the trademark market and make a play to make this team have a shot at a playoff, have a shot at getting back to another championship series, first base is where you got to do it. And we could toy with this platoon or we could bring up a young guy. But for me, I'd rather have a guy that we bring in and that we play. Unlike a certain first baseman who shall not be named that was brought in that didn't get to play. And Suzy will not forget.
Listen, we could have had playoff Yuli the entire season if it was done correctly. It's done correctly. But again, that's what we wanted to see happen here, right? When Jose Abreu hit his first home run, right? It was after a day off. And that they even said it on the broadcast that they were hoping that maybe a rested Jose Abreu could be a better Jose Abreu. It hasn't looked that is going to work out. I don't know how long this leash is going to be, guys.
Jose Abreu has looked better. For everybody that just wants to strap him to a rocket to the moon, I understand.
I don't want to send him to the moon. I just maybe don't want him on my team.
No, that's what I mean.
There's a difference. There's some people I want to strap to a rocket and send to the moon, and then there's some people that I just don't want on my team.
I feel like if you're watching these games close, especially if you're watching his at bats, I feel like the contact looks a whole lot better. You're seeing him hit to right center, where when he was the AL MVP, that's where he lived. He lived right center. You're seeing singles. You're seeing not totally uncompetitive at bats. There are some where he's just absolutely fooled, where he's up there and it's 3 pitches and he swung at the worst one. And people are like, what the fuck is this guy doing out here? Like, I get that. But I watched John Singleton get rung up twice yesterday, and he looked very uncompetitive. And I know the story, and I know how people feel, and I get it. And I think he needs to be on this roster or on another roster, but I don't think he needs to be the guy that wins the bread. So that's just me.
How many times have we said, if Jose Singleton,
Ooh.
I've combined them into one person now. If John Singleton got everyday run, he could be serviceable. But the fact that he's not getting everyday at bats, and I realize that he as of right now, it's getting split like 60-40. But I think the fact that it's not every day,
He had
I
one
think
day
it's
off.
hurting as first baseman.
He's still in the lineup. Are you worried about are you worried about the defensive metrics? Or are you
I'm worried about all of
it?
I'm worried about all of it. Okay, all of it.
For
all of
me, defense at first base is not it's not a hamstring. Like, I don't necessarily, the people that want to blow up the errors that Jose Abreu made, I think it's a little overblown. I think you get those errors anyway. You see him from Breggy, you see him from Tuve, you see him from Pena. For me, we care more about whoever's at first base hitting. When that guy's not hitting, everybody's like, what the fuck? We need a hitter. So Big John, everybody was like, hey, this is not Gold Glove first baseman. This is the hitter we need.
Bring me Pete Alonso. Like I said. No, I'm just kidding. But for real though, bring me Pete Alonso.
So order them. You got Sevy, Pete Alonso, and Tommy Pham. Give me the order in which you want them on your team.
Listen, people. Listen. Okay. Tommy Pham is hurt now. Tommy Pham got hurt on that collision at home plate with William Contreras. So he's on the IL now. So he can stay on the docket there. Do we need a pitcher? Absolutely. Do we need a starting pitcher? Yeah. Bring me Pete Alonso, then Sevy, then Tommy Pham.
What do you think about that Crochet guy from the White Sox? Would you make that move? He's their de facto ace at the moment. Or JP Sears. That's another guy that I've seen floated.
I can't decide if JP Sears is good or not. I've watched some of his starts, and I don't know. I think Garrett Crochet's Stuff Plus is actually really good. So I wouldn't mind Garrett Crochet. But I don't know if JP Sears is good or not. So I'm going to say no to JP Sears. I'll take Garrett Crochet. If they're just going to throw him in something, that's fine. I'll do that. But I don't think I'm comfortable with JP Sears.
Did you see Trevor Bauer make the Shohei thing about him?
Listen, people, I don't know how much more clear I can make it. If you are one of the people that say that we need to sign Trevor Bauer, I need you to block me. I need you to never listen to the show. Absolutely not. Do I want Trevor Bauer on this team? I don't want him near this team at all, ever. The fact that is even a thought in people's head just makes me want to punch you in the face. And other places. All right. For all of the people that, and that's what I really don't understand about this entire fucking fan base, not just the Astros fan base, but like baseball in and of itself as a whole. The fact that the boos that rain down for Jose Altuve, but the fact that people like Aroldis Chapman are still fucking cheered on is just mind-boggling to me. That you have people that have literally been convicted of crimes, proven of crimes, and they're like, oh, no, that's fine. No, totally. You can throw a ball really hard, really fast. We love you. Perfect. We don't care that you beat people. We don't care that you're a horrible human fucking being. But yet, our tiny short king over here that has literally done fucking nothing gets booed. That's my whole tangent. If for some reason you think Trevor Bauer belongs on this team, this is not the podcast for you. There is no gray area here in my space. Not my space, but like my space. No gray area. Trevor Bauer does not belong on this team. And if you think that Trevor Bauer belongs on any MLB baseball team, just go fuck yourself. I can't. I'm done. We shall not talk about Trevor Bauer. That's my line. That's my line.
I've seen it since the Tommy John thing came out. I've seen it a lot in Twitter spaces recently, and I'm just like, I can't understand for the life of me why on earth you want that man anywhere near your team or in a baseball uniform. I don't care that you want to clear him of whatever. I don't care that you just want to look at the athlete. I just don't care. There is a guarantee there is another way that you can get the production that you're after without ever having to give that guy a baseball ever again.
That's fine. He wants to do whatever the fuck he wants to do on his own time, whatever. But the fact that people are saying, oh, he was never convicted. No, we're getting way off track now. But no, Trevor Bauer does not belong on this baseball team, nor does he belong on any baseball team. Now that is someone that can be strapped to a rocket and sent to the goddamn moon, okay? And even the moon people don't fucking want him, all right?
Like, go send it back.
Yeah, whatever life form is on the moon, they're like, what the fuck? What did we ever do to you, Earth? No, just abso-fucking-lutely not. So bring me an actual good pitcher that is not a clubhouse cancer, that is not a horrible human being, and I'll be good. I'll be good. With that, we're going to close the show. But really and truly, yay for winning a series because it's been a while. Fingers crossed that we can go on this road trip and win 4 of 6. Hopefully we can win back-to-back series. Have we won back-to-back series this season? I don't think we have. Did you freeze? I think you froze. Okay. Oh, there he goes. And yeah, I don't think we have won back-to-back series. We're going to check that though. But with that, we are going to close the show because I don't know where Tom went. And you can find Tom on all of the social media platforms. Third Coast Tom on Twitter and TC Tom1 on Instagram. You can find us both at the PSF app. I will link that in the show notes. And with that, we will close the show and say, yay, baseball!